To God be all the glory. Great things He has done. You know, today is a difficult day. It's an interesting day, but it's also difficult and challenging in some respects because some things are happening that is touching and affecting the minds of people who are connected to them. Today, we would have found out that Queen Elizabeth has died. And this is definitely a sad occasion in our country. It is a sad occasion for the British monarch, but their story will continue. And just like us, our story will continue. Today, though, for me, it's not only the death of the Queen. There's another death that is taking place in our country as we speak. And people need to be cognizant of what is happening here, what is taking place, what is going on, what we are dealing with right now. It is troubling to say the least. And I don't know how else to convey my feelings about what is going on, but someone needs to talk about it. What's happening in Abaco is extremely troubling. This morning when I woke up, when I got up and was getting ready to go to work, I saw a video from Pastor Silbert Mills in Abaco, and he was there with some persons and around the dooms, and they were talking about the tractors that had been there, brought in to tear down the dooms, and the contractor who I guess was selected at that time to do the job had packed up his tractor and left because there were persons still living in the domes. There were persons still occupying those domes in Abaco. Lo and behold, this evening as I am headed home, as I'm coming from work, as I'm headed home, I see another video from Pastor Mills. And in that video is a tractor tearing down one of the dooms. Today, not only has Queen Elizabeth died, but humanity in our country appears to have died. Because there's no way that anyone in their right thinking mind can conclude that the best way to address someone who is practically already homeless is to deliberately and intentionally make them more homeless. That don't make sense to me. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but it does not make sense to me. I don't know what is happening, and it appears that no one else knows because everybody has different answers. There are different persons saying different things, but all of this falls at the feet of the current administration. The thing that is troubling for me is this, that I know in my heart of hearts that this is not what our Prime Minister is about. I know in my heart of hearts that it is no way that he sat down and that he slept good last night, that he slept in his home last night, content with the idea that he would wake up this morning and allow somebody to go and make someone else deliberately homeless. I know the Prime Minister didn't do that. I know that is not him. That is not his MO. The prime minister that I am aware of is someone who believes in the rights of others regardless of how we may feel. He has represented some characters in his law firm that we feel he should not have represented, but he knew that they had rights too. And that's the way that all of us should be. Because everybody at the end of the day is innocent until proven guilty. And all he was doing was his job. I do not believe that the prime minister of our country, not the minister, because at the end of the day, they don't really have no say. I do not believe that the sitting prime minister of this country sat down, slept comfortably last night, knowing that the electricity was turned off from those domes from yesterday, and people were living in them. I do not believe that the prime minister came up with the idea that persons should be moved out of the domes who were comfortably living there and sent to and given $4,000 and sent to find housing elsewhere. I don't believe he did that. Because one of the hardest places to find housing is in Abaco. Today we have to stand with Abaco. How can we sleep content tonight in our homes? How can we get comfortable knowing that there are our brothers and sisters who were living in some place that they could call home, whether it's a dome, whether it's a shack, whether it's a school bus. But tonight there is a deliberate effort to uproot them while not giving them any other place to go. When I heard the statement the other day, these domes, and that they were going to be, that these persons were going to be removed from the domes, and the domes would be destroyed, and they would be given $4,000 to make their way in finding new residency. I said, unbelievable. That could not possibly be true. I said that because it did not make sense to me. It could never in this life make sense. How could that possibly make sense? $4,000 in 2022 can't get you nowhere. This isn't 1922. This is 2022. In 1922, $4,000 might have been able to buy you 2 houses. This is 2022. $4,000 can't get you good rent. It can't do it. And if you've lived in Abaco, you would understand that the housing is difficult to find. I would think that anyone undertaking the decision to remove persons out of the domes would make sure that those persons first have housing, meaning that even if they don't get it, you provide it. Because you have elected to move them. Because right now they are currently living somewhere. They have a place to abide. They have somewhere to lay their head. They have somewhere to relax in peace. They have somewhere to go home to. It does not make sense that persons would be comfortably laying down, living in somewhere, and you can say, we can move you out, throw a couple of dollars at you, and you got to find some place to stay in a place where there is no place to stay. Please help me out there. Because I don't understand that. That don't make sense to me. And that's why I know it ain't got nothing to do with the prime minister. I know that he's going to fix it. I know in my heart of hearts, through the God that I serve, that our prime minister, the Right Honorable Brave Davis, is going to fix this situation, and he's going to resolve it quickly and properly. Because he will not sit back and allow his people to suffer by any means. He will not sit back and let them hurt. He will not be able to sleep comfortable knowing that there are some Bahamians or some citizens of this country, Bahamians or not, there are some citizens in this country who have been deliberately uprooted from the place where they call home, whether it's a bus, a dome, a room. It doesn't matter. Homelessness is not a nice, an easy thing. Homelessness is not a good feeling. I can tell you about homelessness. I know what it is to live in a house that was subpar standards, that was not quite suitable to live in, but we lived there anyway. And the toilet was outside. And I remember one time I was getting involved in politics, and one of the persons who I was opposed to turned around and posted a video of my outside, not a video, sorry, a photo of my outside toilet on Facebook to get at me. I was in shock. I was sitting down looking at on the internet, and when I look, I see this picture, and I looked at it and screened it up a little bit and fixed it a little bit more, and then I looked. That was my outside toilet displayed on Facebook, on the internet. I say, oh Lord, look at my toilet. Look at my toilet on Facebook. Look at my toilet. Homelessness is not a good feeling. When somebody tell you get out their house and you don't have nowhere to go, that's not a good feeling. That is the worst feeling in the world. It's like somebody has insulted you. They've broken you down. They've destroyed you. When somebody tells you to get out and you have nowhere to go, can you imagine that it's someone who claims to represent the government that is not only telling you to get out, but they are destroying the little piece of what you considered home, where you held a little bit of sanity? That's why I know our Prime Minister is not involved in this. And someone has to stand up with Silbert Mills and Kai Mills and all of the other persons in Abaco who are going through this difficulty, because if we allow this to happen, what is it that we won't allow? If you take those people out of those homes, that will be worse than what Hurricane Dorian did to them. If you take a tractor and you run it through these people's place where they live without providing them with a place where they can rest their head, you would have treated them worse than Hurricane Dorian itself. They might as well have gone through Hurricane Dorian and stayed there. You can't do that. We have to appeal to the heart of people, to the humanity of people. But humanity is like dying. It is like going away. It's like I don't know what this is. How did we come to this conclusion? How did we get here? How did we get here? 2021, we putting people out their houses. It might not be much of a house to us, but it is a place of comfort to them. No one, thank God for Pastor Kai Mills, not Pastor Silbert Mills speaking for them. Thank God for Pastor Mills speaking for them. Someone needs to speak for them. And the rest of the Bahamas needs to be galvanized to speak for these people who cannot speak for themselves. This morning when Pastor Mills was doing the little video, one of the guys passed by and Pastor Mills reached out to him, and then he started to say some stuff, and what he started to say, he can't talk for nobody. We ain't gonna let him speak. He's cussing and carrying on and acting in a way that we would consider unruly. So someone has to speak for them. And then we, who know that we live in a little bit of comfort, need to stand up with them. We need to support them. And we need to tell, whether it's the minister, whether it's the DRA, whether it's the government, I don't care who it is, we need to tell them unequivocally, you are wrong. How can you put people out of homes without making sure that they have somewhere to go? Is this what we've come to? Queen Elizabeth has died, and now our humanity in the Bahamas has died. What happened? Why? How did we get here? Is this where we really want to be? What message are we sending to our children and our children's children? What are we saying? Our country is in a difficult state. Our country is in a crisis. You understand? And don't mind how things look on the outside. A lot of Bahamians, especially in Abaco and Grand Bahama, are struggling. They're hurting. They're going through a lot. They're lacking. It's difficult to find housing in Abaco. I don't understand. It's guys, somebody stood with the Haitians when the government moved to knock down the shanty towns. Somebody stood with them. Somebody stood with the Haitians when the government moved to knock down the shanty towns. Somebody stood with them. That was Fred Smith. Who's standing with these people now? Because somebody needs to stand with them. Somebody needs to get the government to court. Somebody needs to do something because it's not fair. It is not right. It is not just. And that's how I know. There's no way our Prime Minister is involved in that. There's no way. Not Prime Minister Philip Brave Davis. I have an administrative friend of mine, Neil Campbell. I can call his name. Neil Campbell used to talk to me about that man. It was Neil Campbell who convinced me that Brave Davis is not the kind of person that people try to convey him to be. I believe Neil. And I want to continue to believe Neil even today. But something is wrong. Neil and everybody, something is wrong. Something needs to be done because there's no way that our government can take people, displace them, destroy their homes, and not have some place for them to lay their head tonight. No way. And I ain't talking about no rent. Because the domes could have been there and been regulated and been inspected regularly. Making sure, and at the same time while you're doing that, you're making sure that you're helping the persons one by one to get into their new housing and so forth and so on. Do what you gotta do. But no one should be made to be homeless. Not deliberately by the government. Come on, man. We are better than this. We are better than this. You know how bad that looked to see Silbert Mills out there showing you a tractor tearing down a house where people live. There's air conditions and the tractor is tearing down where the people live. You know how bad that look? You know how embarrassing that is for our country on an island where the hurricane just destroyed. This is what we doing? Is this really what we doing? You know how bad that look? How embarrassing that is? You know how bad them people feel? You know how bad I felt when I heard that they slept without electricity last night? Deliberately so? They turned off. How you feel? Whoever did that. The first tractor man, listen to me. You can be like them ladies, them to the Shifra and Puah in the Bible. You can be like them, the Shifra and Puah in the Bible. When Pharaoh decided he was going to kill the little boys, and he instructed the midwives. As soon as them boys come out, kill them. And the midwives decided that they were not going to do it. They instead would allow the children to be born. And when Pharaoh questioned them, they said, Pharaoh, you got to understand these Egyptian women, they have babies too fast. And the Bible says because they did not follow the king's cruel instructions, God blessed them. And so, Mr. Tractor Man, if you did not go over there and destroy the place, you will be blessed. But if you did, God will deal with you. And God is going to deal with everybody who is involved in this crisis of lost humanity. How could you do this? How could you take these people out of homes? A dome is a home until you give them a proper home. And unless, don't tell me nothing but $4,000, because $4,000 could hardly buy water. $4,000 ain't going to get you nowhere. What is $4,000 to someone who trying to find a home, trying to hold on to one job, trying to keep gas in their car, trying to feed their children, trying to sustain themselves, trying to buy the little toiletries and deodorant and all that stuff. Gotta deal with any little emergency that come up. What is $4,000? That is no money. It's not. I wouldn't last as long as Pat lasts in the army. And all the person can do is end up homeless. Why are we deliberately contributing to this atrocity? Why? And how does it make sense? Make it make sense to me. I would think we would be having a celebration to show off the people going into their new homes. So that when the domes are destroyed, we ain't worried, because we know everybody who was living in the dome is now living in a house or an apartment or something that the government has made available to them because they destroyed the domes. I would think there would be some kind of big grand celebration, because we making sure that our people who were living in these domes don't have to live in them no more. But you can have a destruction of a place where somebody lives, and you ain't make sure put in place provisions for them to be able to live somewhere else. How? What kind of foolishness is that? We don't know no better than that. And that's how I know the Prime Minister's not involved in this. There's no way. It is no way that the Prime Minister's involved in this. I would like the Prime Minister to see this video. I would like to say to him directly, sir, Mr. Prime Minister, sir, whoever that is, who doing them things to try to embarrass you or make your government look bad, get rid of them. You working on two terms. This ain't gonna do it. This will destroy you. This will destroy you like nothing else destroys you. Because there's no way that you can treat the people of Abaco worse than Hurricane Dorian treated them and still remain in office. So whoever that is giving you that bad advice, get rid of them, fire them, move them somewhere else. Put them in an area where they're not responsible for people's survival, because they don't care. Because there's no way we can lay down comfortable knowing that those people in Abaco, electricity and water has been turned off. Their homes are being destroyed by tractors. There's no way we could be comfortable with that. No way. Someone got to stand up at Abaco. Someone got to stand up at Tilbury Mills. The Bahamas needs to unite around these people and help them. It cannot be that our humanity has died with Queen Elizabeth or whoever. What did the former Prime Minister say? Where's your heart? Where's your compassion? Where's your soul? Where is your humanity? That's the question we need to ask. We need to ask these questions. How is it? How you feel comfortable? How do we feel comfortable putting people out of homes where they are currently living? Putting them out, tearing the place down, and they ain't have nowhere to go. And we ain't worried? You got them go sleep content? How? And you really think God pleased with that? Listen to me. God is a God of order. There's no way. There's no way that can happen. Where's the Fred Smith? Fred Smith, you should be standing up for the people with the domes. Show us where your loyalty really lies. The thing is called Human Rights Bahamas. Well, now these are some Bahamians who needs their human rights adjudicated. Come on. This is bad. The whole Bahamas should be concerned, troubled, and disturbed by what is taking place in Abaco. And I know the Prime Minister, wherever he is, he's upset and trying to fix this situation. I know he's trying to fix this because there's no way. He ain't allow this to happen. He will not allow it to happen. The former administration, I ain't so sure. But this one, no sir. They don't live like that. This is the government for the poor and the less fortunate and those people who are going through difficulty. I ain't playing politics now. I'm just saying, this is my little observation here. This ain't got nothing to do with politics. It has to do with doing the right thing. And the right thing is not to take advantage of people, but to help them to help themselves. The right thing would be to make sure that these people are in their homes tonight, whether it's a school bus, a dorm, or a room, comfortably sleeping, not worried that their homes are going to be torn down and they have no place to sleep. We're struggling in this country. You have a few people in this country who are doing extremely well, and they believe because they're doing well, everybody doing well. That's not the case. That is not the case. Plenty of people are struggling in this country. I'm one of them, so I know. And the struggle is real. I live in a house, and the struggle is real. So imagine them set who live in a dome, only hanging on by a thread. And you can send a tractor to destroy the little place where they lay their heads while you sleep comfortably. How you sleeping? You think God can let you sleep comfortably after that? No, sir. Let's get it together. That's how I know our Prime Minister is not involved in what's happening in Abaco, and he can do something with that. He's probably working on that right now, because there's no way. It's no way. It's no way. The tractor ran straight through the thing and just destroyed it, and the person who was in the tractor didn't care. He just ram it through. Heartless. Don't care. Because he could afford, he got a tractor. When he didn't come off that tractor, he going home and he bed go sleep comfortably. And you think God pleased with that? Son, when God finishes you, you're going to wish you never owned the tractor. You're going to wish you never owned the tractor. You're going to wish you never knew who the person was who instructed you to take that tractor and run that through them people home. When God finished with you, and all us can know about it, because it is wrong. Absolutely, unequivocally wrong. Don't indulge the government. Tell the government when they're wrong. The Prime Minister don't need people around him who can tell him what he needs to, what he wants to hear. He needs people around him who can tell him what he needs to hear. And he needs to hear that this is wrong. It should not happen. When we hear from this, it should be that there are apartments being built everywhere. And it's a big celebration because everybody is moved systematically out of the domes and placed in their proper homes. However you decide. Because once you decide to evict people and put them on the street, after all that they've already been through, then you need to take responsibility for them. We are celebrating and talking about having Dorian concert and listening to CC whining and this and that, and we 1 week and less than a couple of days later we throwing people out in the street. How you feel? Huh? What kind of hog heart that is? What kind of hog dog heart that is? Because there's no way you could be someone filled with compassion and do something like that. How can you call on the name of God while you destroying people? The CC whining the same gospel. How could you listen? You sit down, listen to the gospel song. Listen to the gospel song. What's CC whining sing? CC whining sing all kind of good song. Alabaster Box. You singing, listening to Alabaster Box and destroying people. How you feel? How you feel? People, we better wake up. It's no way. It's no way. It's no way. We can sit content. I ain't gonna sit content. Yeah, this might get me in trouble. I don't care. There's no way I could sit content and see that our Bahamian brothers and sisters are suffering and being uprooted because of somebody's ego. Or because somebody playing politics. It's absolutely wrong. And we have to stand up against it. We gotta say right is right and wrong is wrong. Unequivocally wrong. No way. You singing Alabaster Box and destroying people? You singing Alabaster Box and making people homeless? Clint, this is the time when you need to talk. This is the time, Clint, when you need to wear your 16-piece suit. Don't wait till the Queen funeral. Wear your 16-piece suit today to go and talk when you do your little press conference to talk for those people. Because this is wrong. Absolutely unequivocally wrong. How you can put them people out and you ain't give them no place to stay? How? And you all feel good when you all telling the people, oh, but they getting $4,000. What the hell $4,000 could do? $4,000 could barely buy you a car from Japan. Not an up-to-date one. Could barely buy you a car. So, hello, somebody. We got to do better. We're in a bad place. When our humanity has died. And we are inconsiderate of people in their lives and their suffering. We are in a bad place when we feel that we could just be arbitrary in our decisions and we don't care what the results are. We are in a bad place when we're not prepared to give consideration to people suffering and their hurting and their difficulty and whatever they're dealing with. We're in a bad place when we don't care whether people live or die, whether they have a place to sleep or not. We're in a bad place when we don't care whether people have something to eat or whether they go hungry. We're in a bad place. We got to get it together. We're in a bad place. We're in a messed up place. Man, we could willingly make people homeless and think nothing of it. We're in a horrid place. And we got to do something. We got to get ourselves together. We got to get it together. It's no way. There's no way. No way. And that's how I know. Our Prime Minister, our current Prime Minister, our Prime Minister, Brave Davis, is not involved in this, and he can fix this. He's going to fix it. And he can fix it quickly because he can't go to bed comfortably knowing that there are some Bahamians tonight who have nowhere to lay their head because the tractor gone through the house. And the government sent it. At least that's the impression we get. How? I stand with Silbert Mills. I stand with the people of Abaco. I stand with those persons, the Dorian sufferers. I stand with those people in those domes. I stand with those people who are hurting. I stand with the homeless. Being homeless is not a good feeling. Being homeless is not. Listen, you would have to experience it to understand what it really is. You would have to experience it to understand how it feels when somebody says to you, get out of my house. Get out of this house, and you have nowhere else to go. You would have to experience it to understand how much it hurts. You would have to experience it. We have to do better. We have to get it together. We better wake up. I'll tell you this. Keep on this track. Keep on this track, and things will not go well. God will not continue to cover you. God will not continue to guide you. God will not protect you. God will not help you. I see Glenda want to join this video. No. We have to do better than this. We have to do better. It is wrong. Unequivocally wrong. Unequivocally wrong. We got to get it together. There's no way. The people living in the homes. We might not like it, but the people living in the homes, they're comfortable in the homes. They're relaxed in the homes. Huh? Why are we trying to humiliate them and make them feel bad and we ain't give them no place to stay? And how are we going to live and sleep comfortably tonight? There's no way. And so I urge all of us to unite. And let's stand with those people in Abaco. I said then it was a bad idea. When I first saw the story about putting the people out the homes, destroying the domes, and giving them $4,000, I said then it was a bad idea. I went on Facebook and I typed it under one message and I said, this is a bad idea. Not a good one. I said, because you cannot, or you should not, put people out of their homes without providing them with somewhere else to stay. You should not put them out of the home, whether it's the home, a dome, or a room, or a school bus. You shouldn't do it without making sure that you have provided a place for them where they can lay down and rest their head, and you are comfortable that they are laying and able to rest and able to wake up and call that place home. This is cruel. This is cruel beyond measure. I don't want you to think I don't want anybody connected to this decision to think that they can rest comfortably, or God can let them and theirs rest comfortably while these people suffer. I don't want nobody to think that. If that's what you thought, get that out of your mind. Because what you will reap what you sow. If you thought you can rest comfortably after you don't make people homeless, get that out of your mind, because you will reap what you sow. Whatever you do, it's going to come back to you. Whatever you do, and I don't care how high your stature is, I don't care how rich you get, I don't care how powerful you get, I don't care what ends up in your hand, I don't care what authority you have. Whatever you do, it's going to come back to you. God don't sleep and God don't slumber. We have to have a heart, have some passion for people. We cannot feel comfortable putting people on the streets, content just to let them be there and tell them over $4,000. What $4,000 could do? $4,000 can barely buy water. And so I say it again. I stand with the people of Abaco. I stand with Silbert Mills. I stand with those people who are living in those domes. I also believe, I'm fully convinced, that our Prime Minister is right now working on resolving this situation in the best interest, particularly of those persons who are homeless or who live in those domes. Because to evict them and uproot them and throw them out and do them like that would be worse than how Hurricane Dorian did them. This would be another destructive hurricane in their lives. And if you throw them out on the street, like how Dorian threw them out on the street and made them homeless, then you might as well kill them. Because they only got no heart for them. It's not right. It's absolutely wrong. That's why I know our Prime Minister can fix it. Good night, everyone.